So you're mainly known for the voice of Bugs Bunny?
Currently, Doc, Bugs Bunny, any carrot donuts you got there? I noticed you got mochi, but perhaps...
These are the designers. Brought to you by...
Yeah, that's crazy.
My childhood!
Alright everybody, welcome back to another awesome episode of The Careful Boys, and today we have a very special guest. He is I got this pulled up and shit, 5-time Emmy-nominated voice actor, coach of the Toon Squad, co-founder of Retro Kid. We have Mr. Eric Bauza in the building, y'all.
Wow, look, I got a tiger sound effect and everything. That only means I lost 5 times at the Emmys, right? That's like, you know, I don't want to bring it up as
Hey,
a
you know, I
downer.
never looked at it like that. It seems so pessimistic, but you're right.
That's the Canadian in me, you know, staying humble and going, hey, you know what? It was nice just to work and leave the house, and for that recognition, I'm always just like, wow, I can't believe I've lost 5 times to.
That's tight.
Is it like a single person? Is it like a rival or arch nemesis?
Yeah, who the fuck's beating you at these voice
I
things?
don't know. There's just I've had close friends.
It's
beat
Liam
me.
Neeson, huh?
Yeah,
It's Liam Neeson, it's fucking Oprah.
Mark Hamill, dude.
I did lose to Mark Hamill once. That's true. Yeah.
Who does he play?
Did you lose to Rob Paulson?
I mean,
Or Dante
you
Basco.
can't win. Dante as well. Dante, I had one session with him. It was Avatar, the last Airbender.
Yeah.
And I was.
He beat you as Zuko?
He just beat me as Dante. He just woke up and I already lost. He's the Filipino that gets, you know, the most.
You don't even need to
Eugene
change his
Cordero's another one.
Oh, cool. You know Eugene too?
I've known Eugene. I've met him like maybe a handful of times.
He was our
Super
improv
nice guy.
teacher.
No way.
Yeah, UCB.
He's the guy now, man. He's up there.
So you're mainly known for the voice of Bugs Bunny?
Currently, Doc, Bugs Bunny, any carrot donuts you got there? I noticed you got mochi, but perhaps...
These are the designers. Brought to you by.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My childhood!
I gotta do this.
But-
it's more
but-
fun.
but-
How did you find out you could do that shit?
I mean, if you look at my physical state, you'll know that I watch lots of television. I don't go out. I just watch. I used to watch like a lot of cartoons Saturday mornings when we were growing up. When you could only get cartoons after school or Saturday mornings is when I was really studying Looney Tunes. I mean,
you were like studying.
Yeah,
you were,
that's like,
that's
wow.
that's weird that I'd say that and not say watching, but you know, I would pause I would record it and I would pause it and I would draw from it. Like I actually, if you have a pen and paper, I can actually draw from it.
Animation?
Somebody got a pen and paper.
Yeah, Sharpie, like whatever you need. We're in an office building.
It's not a normal.
It only looks like an office.
This IRS paper thing.
This is perfect.
Joe, he's got it. All right, Joe's getting paper. Wait. We might want to keep it. This is a piece of shit. This is a piece of shit. We gotta mark it. We might want to
doing
keep
this
this.
for a while.
We're putting this on the fucking wall.
By the way, that was a David Letterman toss
Yeah,
of
that was
the.
nice.
That was like you put it exactly where he got it.
I'm gonna get
from.
an Emmy for it.
I hope the camera tracked that. Okay, so here I'll draw a little something for you. I haven't actually drawn in a while, but I used to record these cartoons.
Somebody get a phone! No, don't do that!
Don't do that.
Use this!
Okay, this is the
Here,
best.
just record it from this
here we
angle.
go. Here we go. We're gonna go.
I'm recording this angle. I'm
I
recording this
started.
angle.
I started with the nose and the mouth, and we're gonna go with the teeth.
This is history, man.
This is portrait mode. Are we okay?
Yeah, I think.
Fuck, the editors will figure it out.
But yeah, I mean,
See it coming to life.
I used to draw these characters all the time.
Wait,
as-
you gotta use his voice as you're drawing him.
well, Doc, you gotta make sure you got that cute little tiny nose and the 3 tufts of hair and the back of the skull, the other side of the cheek. He's got 6 whiskers, Doc.
Wow.
And then I never leave room for my big floppy ears right here. I don't wanna
draw on your fancy marble table.
You can do anything you want.
but that's pretty much Bugs, Doc.
Wow.
Ain't he a stinker?
So yeah, I mean,
Holy shit.
That's Bugs Bunny!
it's a rough assimilation of.
That looks like the one on the cartoons though.
This is pretty much it.
Wow.
So
Bugs is a cartoon.
let's go, guys. Then I shipped this to my cousins in the Philippines, and they animate.
Keep it over here. Keep it over here.
And and then when they're not making shoes, they will animate this overseas.
Can you sign it, please?
Please sign it.
Okay. I will. Now you can get
We're gonna frame it.
$5 My mom will buy this off eBay.
Dude, this is amazing.
We're gonna frame this and keep it here.
That's so tight.
I want to get
But
a
yeah.
tattoo of it.
A tat. All right. Yeah. I'll just
That'd be a fresh
add
tat, yeah.
eyelashes.
Can you draw one on?
Sure. Whatever you do.
Yeah.
But that's how I got into it by
a real
studying.
quick round of applause,
thank
everybody.
Wow. Too much.
But when did the voice kick in?
I got a question, cause like we probably are the same age.
83.
Right there. pretty much.
83 years old.
Yeah, 83 years old. We're right there. Okay, how did you invent Bugs Bunny if we were watching Bugs Bunny when we were kids?
Well, here's the thing. I did not. I will never take any credit for the creation of these characters, especially the I call them the personalities, not just the voices. It's Mel Blanc. He was the very first actor to. He was in Hollywood in Burbank in the 40s, if you can imagine. Like, he was probably smoking unfiltered cigarettes, wearing like 3-piece wool suits,
Sexy as fuck, right?
With a monocle or something?
Yeah, burning garbage in his back.
Telling people, you'll never work in this city again! Like those kind of guys, huh?
That's actually what they were telling him. Like, they had a guy at Warner's, as the story goes, that did all the voices for them. And if you can imagine, like, people have cameras in their own podcast now. They're making their own shows, their own content. He was still going from like CBS to NBC to ABC, like going to those 3 studios and Warner Brothers and Disney, trying to get voice work, and they just kept telling him, we have a guy. Sorry, we have a girl. Sorry,
you only have one guy.
That's it. That's all they needed back then. But and he says, I kept going to Warner Brothers, knocking on the door, and one day they opened it and said, the guy died, so you got the job now. So then he went in there, and they showed him a picture of like all these characters, like Bugs Bunny. They pitched it as a tough little stinker, and in his pitch for the characters, like, where is the toughest place in America right now? And it was either the Brooklyn or the Bronx.
So I put the 2 of them together and came up with Bugs Bunny, Doc. Ain't I a stinker?
Yeah, and then, it's real. I could take you through all those voices. Like,
yes, please.
Daffy is actually, not a lot of people know, and it's almost like Eric Cartman when Trey Parker does Cartman on South Park. He's not really.
When I do Daffy, I am doing what we know as Daffy and how we hear it, how we remember it. Yeah. Woohoo!
But when he performed it, he was performing it as Sylvester the Cat. Like, that is the same voice, but sped up, it sounds like this.
Oh, shit! That's cool!
Think about Tweety Bird.
Tweety Bird, one of my favorites!
Only 2.5 years old.
And that voice is also kind of sped up.
But if you kind of drop the baby voice and add that Brooklyn and Bronx accent, it becomes Bugs.
So I call it the House of Mel Blanc, and they all live, like, some of them live in the attic, some of them live on the first floor.
Those are slight adjustments,
Just
though.
little tiny tweaks,
I didn't realize that.
Like Pepe Le Pew, of course, really not very used these days for obvious reasons. He's a little grubby, but
we should interview Pepe Le Pew and ask what really happened.
TMZ tried calling me, but if you lose the French accent and suddenly you start talking like you're from the South, that's fog. I say foghorn leg. Pay attention, son. That foghorn. Yeah, it's just the difference that he puts into these characters is amazing. And again, they're over 80 years old now. Most of them.
He did all of those characters by himself.
Pretty much. Yeah. I think the only main Looney Tune that he didn't really do was Elmer Fudd. And that was another guy.
I didn't do it. Can you do Elmer Fudd?
Oh, be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbit.
It's again, a lot of time on my hands.
Okay, so from him, how did it transition to you?
Well, again,
He died, and no, I'm just kidding.
Well, he did. Unfortunately, in 1989, Mel Blanc passed away, and that was like, I think, maybe the first 40 years of that character, like, that he took care of. And then there's still another 30 to 40 years where other people were supplying the voice of Bugs and the rest of the characters. And, I always have to include people like Jeff Bergman, Bob Bergen. If you don't have a Berg in your last name, then you're not working on these characters. It's Bauza is actually my full name. But, Jeff Bennett, We got Candy Milo, Fred Tatasciore. There's so many people that have supplied the characters for these, the voices for these characters, I should say.
And every single time they supply the voices for all of them at the same time. They were like the one person that did.
I'd say Jeff Bergman was the one that did most of the characters in like, you know, in a short or like pretty much in his resume. In fact, it's kind of crazy to think that only in Space Jam: A New Legacy with LeBron is the first time he's ever voiced Bugs in a feature film, even though he's been doing it for 40 years. So it really is up to the people in charge telling the story. Who does the voices for these characters?
In the voice acting world, can you like hear the difference of who did?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure. But what is common to me though is the love that they had for this character. Like you could, anytime I hear Jeff or Billy West is another guy. He's pretty much all the voices on Futurama, and he was on the Stern Show. He was Ren and Stimpy on Nickelodeon, but. He was like Bugs. He's done, you know, Porky. He's done, but it's funny. I hear them all, and I hear how different they are. Another one's Joe Lasky. Another one, rest in peace. They all have, you know, a cadence and a different pitch and tone, but they have that like, oh yeah, this is what reminds me of Bugs, and you just automatically kind of, at least for me, I'm always invested in, and I applaud whoever's. It's not an easy job because
you just said that this other dude was doing like the Looney Tunes, the Space Jam LeBron version. So which version of like Bugs and stuff do you do?
So I'm doing right now. I'm on Looney Tunes cartoons, which is a very much like a throwback to like the early days because we've seen
Probably
them
the
now.
ones we grew up on type stuff.
Yeah. You know, including the ones
with violence, and
the ones with violence, the ones with racism, the ones with like.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. You know, the ones where you're like, hey, that's drawn very close to, you know, or stereotyped in a very different way that would not make it to air.
Teaches you about
I
the real
missed
world.
that stuff.
Kind of. You know what?
missed that stuff.
There's grit to those cartoons, and I mean, obviously, it's like there's stuff that is, you know, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's wrong.
Like that Ren and Stimpy clip that Nick showed us.
Oh, that was wild.
Oh no, what happened on that?
Well,
They were. He was
saw
booty
attached.
fucking-
Yeah,
Oh!
just fucking straight sawing this piece of wood out of his ass.
See that, you know, again, like I was involved in that show before I became a voiceover artist. You're asking like how I got involved, and you know, a lot of it was through drawing. I was actually a cartoonist first, and I'm sure there's like probably a lot of animators out there. And if you think about it, like Mike Judge is another one who's an animator that does the voice of Beavis and Butthead, and Seth MacFarlane, another guy that was an animator. He worked on Johnny Bravo before he, you know, from Hanna-Barbera, him and Butch Hartman, who created Fairly Odd Parents. They both worked at these animation studios before they became like these giant stars. But yeah, I was in cartoons first, like as an artist. And the studios that I worked at, they have this thing in animation called scratch dialogue, where it's like they can't afford to get the big celebs or the real voice actors, so they'll pick anyone in the studio, like who clearly has problems with not, you know, with shutting up and doing his work. They're like, hey, you know, we know you like doing voices and making fun of people. Would you like to do temporary voices for this cartoon? And
That's so sick.
eventually, one of those cartoons got picked up, and eventually they tried not to use me. And they're like, damn it, he's the only one that can do this voice, so they hired me.
Why did they try not to use you?
Well, because, you know, I wasn't in the union yet. And it was Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm.
It was a show called El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera.
Oh, I heard of that.
Created by Jorge Gutierrez. He's the one that did Book of Life, Maya and the Three, that was just on Netflix. From Tijuana, he and his wife Sandra, they gave me a shot. And you know, aside from being able to do these wacky voices, I owe my career to those people, you know.
Because that opened the door for you.
Oh my God.
You became union and all that stuff happened.
Like, and Nickelodeon, like, I'm still on that same work visa. Nothing gets me through customs at the border faster than doing these voices. I could be smuggling like a box of heroin, and they wouldn't care, because I'd be like,
Sorry, Doc, you're being very entertained right now.
Get in here!
yeah. I don't.
You're an American classic.
I don't smuggle heroin.
Just cocaine. Cut that, editor, please.
But yeah, that's basically how I got in, and it just I call it the El Tigre really was the snowflake that started the avalanche. It was like, man, oh man, like one
Have
after.
you ever met a guy where his brain exploded and he was like, telling me a goddamn cheat does my American cartoons.
You know what? Like, I'm sure it's out there. You know, like look, you know, we went through two very different presidents, right? One after another.
Yeah.
You know, one really brought hope to this country, and then the other one was like the light that you turn on, and you still see that there's roaches everywhere hiding in the shadows. You know, these Canadians, they come from Canada and they steal all the voice work. You know, we got to get rid of them. We got to build a wall around Canada. They come in, they take all the jobs. You know, I have an anchor baby, according to him. My son was born in Burbank, so I'm trying to hold on to being.
I had a Canadian professor that kept talking about how he was an illegal immigrant.
It's crazy.
You know what's funny is this is my prediction about the future with entertainment. All of these legendary, from bands to voices and everything, all of them are going to be taken over by Filipinos.
Really?
Because it started with Journey, now Bugs Bunny.
I'm trying to make those connections there. Yeah, I don't know what it is about
Filipinos are destined to be entertainers.
Yeah, and then they can do the voices really well.
They're just born with those genes.
So anything, so all our...
I'm just glad you grew up watching cartoons instead of like Baywatch.
Yeah.
Do the perfect Hasselhoff. Yeah. We can't use you. I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, Hasselhoff comes with his own voice, so.
We know you obviously have an insanely phenomenal ability in these fucking cartoons that we grew up in. You're already blowing my mind. And obviously you have a very, very good Trump. What other accents, impressions?
The one when they were asking you to do like the animal documentary thing, and then you started sounding like the narrator.
Like David Attenborough?
Oh, Attenborough, yeah.
You got an Attenborough?
Well, I had to drive all the way here from Sherman Oaks, the wilds of Sherman Oaks, and deal with 101 traffic. It's very bad around the downtown area to see the local Angelinos in mating season on the side of the road.
How is that coming out of it?
That's crazy!
I don't know. I don't know what it is about that voice, but there's just
That sounds like your real voice, and now you're fucking around.
yeah. This is fake.
Why are you fucking around right now, man?
We're here in Monterey Park, known for its boba. You cannot drive 5 feet in this area without seeing a boba sign.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very
Good, yo.
Yeah, it's very. Oh, thanks, guys.
That's insane.
With these voices, right? What's the licensing and like all the legal things like are you allowed to use it for like cameo or do a different
Cameo?
Honestly,
It's just
though,
your voicemail box?
It's a very valid question. I mean, even at conventions, you know, like there are some artists that straight up use the artwork that is, you know, for autographs and stuff. That is fine. It's like, you know, they've been doing voices for like decades, and of course they're gonna want to meet the fans and reach out to the fan. Like Comic-Con is huge. New York Comic-Con is coming up. San Diego just passed, and in between those big ones, there's so many like smaller ones. I've seen people use actual artwork. I've seen people use art commissioned by someone else, so it's not a direct copy of like trademarked art. But I think most big corporations like Warner's or Disney or Nick, DreamWorks now, you know, they kind of turn a blind eye, I think, and go, oh, whatever, you know, like
That's nice.
They have like some fucking high-level crazy insurance on your voice or some sort of like copy.
Under a throat or
I'm
something.
not Celine Dion by any means. I don't. Apparently, she
You're
doesn't.
bigger, dude. It's fucking Bugs Bunny.
Can you do a Celine Dion?
Draw me like one of your French girls.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Titanic, Celine Dion.
Everything
My
works.
heart will go on. Yeah.
Bugs Bunny covers the hits. You know, I heard that she doesn't speak the entire day on Sunday. That vocal rest is something that I think no matter what you do, if you drink all the tea in the world and keep hydrated, you know, vocal rest.
You gotta do that too?
You know, there was only one time in the last like 5 years, and it was after San Diego Comic-Con where I came back and no symptoms, no, it was a complete surprise. And I had press the next day, all day. I couldn't talk. And it was like the most embarrassing.
There's no voice?
Yeah, and I felt fine all day on Sunday, and then I wake up Monday, and I was like, I sounded like Funkhauser on Curb Your Enthusiasm. You know, Super Dave Osborne. He's he kind of has that rough voice. He has that rough
kind of.
And then everyone's like, "This guy's Bugs Bunny." Like,
it was probably the worst time for anyone to ask me to do voices because I couldn't do it.
Do you have your vocal cords insured?
I do not. I have an ear, throat, nose specialist, ENT, that every time if I am in a situation where I can't talk, they'll give me the steroid, the vitamin.
Oh.
They'll do like vapor, antibiotics, and then assign me to vocal rest. But it's usually like within like 3 days. Dr. Warren Line in Burbank, if you're ever, and he handles like all the voice performers, singers, boy band. He'll tell me all like the people that come through that gate. And yeah, I mean, like, look at someone like The Weeknd who just had to cancel a show like halfway through or like even 4 songs in, and he's like, I can't sing, I can't, like I lost. I'm so sorry, like
maybe he shouldn't have talked so much.
They can't help it, right? They're constantly being asked questions or they have to rehearse.
They should maybe type more.
Do you just because we're here and absolute fans as well, and there seems to be like no cap on that Sharpie and a blank page?
Yeah.
Anybody else that you love drawing / making a voice for that we can keep at the office?
Well, this is of all the Looney Tunes characters, I think. Okay, here we go. I'd say I've only been voicing
Bugs, Daffy, and Tweety for like the last 4 years.
the last 12 to 15 years. I've been voicing Marvin the Martian.
Oh, cool! Hell yeah! I love Marvin.
He was the guy that was in one of the original Jordan commercials with Bugs that kind of started Space Jam. But yeah, I really do enjoy your show, but it blocks my view of Venus. Yeah.
Dude, it's also the things he chooses to say that are gems. It's not just that he sounds like him.
That's the hard part about impressions, right? Is not just sounding like them, but like actually.
You gotta be him.
Like actually, like how they talk, what they would say, what they might say. He's got a little oblong shaped helmet today, but in short notice, that'll do, Earth creature. Yeah, you got my good side. Yeah. Yeah, Marvin has been like my favorite since the beginning. And to be honest, he was actually in the original stretch the least amount of like in 40 years. I think he only had like 5 cartoons or something like that.
But a lot of kids love Marvin.
He's so cool.
I have a piece of Marvin that I made when I was like 6.
Really?
Yeah, and I kept it.
Wow.
I'll show you in a minute.
You gotta show it. You gotta show the goods.